All right, we're back. Let's just smoke.
So how did you fix it?
I don't know. I opened the other app, the accompanying app, and then I don't know. We'll see. We'll see if that helps. Maybe that's what you're always supposed to do, and I just gave myself a hard time for nothing. But hey,
Maybe. Wouldn't be the first time. Just kidding.
no, honestly, it's like sometimes you look at how you did things and you're like, how can I do it better next time? It's like a muscle memory in actions. You're like, why do I keep doing it?
If you practice, you'll find more efficient ways.
I guess in psychology they call it fundamental fixedness. You can only see doing things one way.
If you were taught one way, maybe, and then you weren't stopped in that one way, what's to make you want to find another way? You just assume that's the most efficient way.
I don't want to tempt it with the cat live stream, but I love it so much.
Oh yeah, so they can have something. Joseph wanted to put a cat live stream up
While we smoke, it would be fun.
because he thinks everybody would
Well,
like
actually,
to see
no, I'm not gonna.
cats.
What is that? Oh, interesting.
It's so weird how I feel like the people on the internet like watching cats more than dogs, but people in real life like dogs more than cats.
I don't. I like cats more than dogs.
But you're an internet person.
Oh, there's something I think more. I think for some reason cat personalities show up better on video, where dogs' personalities they usually just have like two.
Oh,
like,
because cats show their
needy
personality when we're
and
not
cool.
looking.
Well, cats are kind of assholes too, where dogs aren't, and so they're funnier because they
You
do.
haven't met a lot of dogs.
Well, that's what I'm saying. On film,
Oh.
dogs may be assholes in person, but it doesn't show up on film as well as like cats. Cats, for some reason, are like.
Yeah,
so
maybe
funny.
you don't see much emotion. Is that why Garfield and Odie? Well, no.
Well, see, when dogs play, they only play like one way, which is like dog piling. When they fight, they only fight one way, which is like they growl and like they might like snap at each other. But when cats play or fight, there's such a bigger spectrum
you see like
in between.
like weird.
Yeah, they can like.
Because cats by nature are more weird, but you find some derpy dogs.
No, I know. I just think I don't know. There's something
just
about watching cat videos where it's a lot more. There's a lot more depth to it than like dog videos.
Maybe because the people interested in them are more the ones that can capture those things.
Or just the subject has more nuances in those areas.
Possibly.
Cats
You
versus dogs.
think?
Hot take.
No. But do you think a dog lover would like to watch cat videos?
I think people that don't like cats could watch cat videos. Yeah.
Yeah, they're like, okay, as long as I don't have to touch it.
Right. Because it's kind of
Because
funny.
I think a lot of people
Cats
are
are funny.
allergic to cats.
Like cats that freak out at cucumbers or whatever.
That's because, like, naturally, I don't know, they might be scared of something that looks like that.
Or they sniff garlic and look like they're gonna throw up.
Oh, but you know that's common. Like, I don't think they're supposed to eat garlic.
No, I know, but they just
You're
they have
naturally gonna
their
be like,
reaction
to
to
stuff
it
you're not
is
supposed
so personified, like a human's almost, where they like gag and they look like a person gagging.
That's why you haven't watched a dog much, huh? Because they'll gag and throw up.
Yeah, but it's gross. When a cat does it, it's funny.
It's like,
Yeah.
oh, I don't know.
Cats are like the pretty girls of the internet. Dogs are the derpy boys.
I could watch your shit all day.
Yeah, it's like I know. There's a reason why I picked the cat live stream. I could have picked any live stream. There were panda live streams.
I
picked the
know.
cat
That's why I was like,
I was like, oh, this is more fun.
that's why I asked you if all the live streams are on YouTube, because I'm like, I used to watch live streams where you had to know what you wanted to watch and know if they had a website and watch it through their website.
Oh, right.
Is that weird? Is that old?
No, well, YouTube just became the best hosting platform for videos.
Yes, I think that's what happened. People started running out of and then their server would crash if too many people are wanting to watch their videos.
Well, okay, so this is a good segue into our next topic. Why are younger people getting their news from YouTube? Why are
Because
like
they're already on it.
yeah, but so is
They're already on
CNN,
it. They already have the app.
and
They're already signed
MSNBC.
on. They can look at CNN News. They can look at They can look at all that news on YouTube.
Right.
YouTube.
But the demographic for those younger people, they're not looking at CNN. Anyways, why don't you watch the news? Maybe that's a better question. Do you watch the news?
No.
Why?
Propaganda. I don't know.
You feel like you're only getting 3/4 of the truth?
3/4?
I think that's the definition of propaganda. It's like 3/4 truth. The beauty of propaganda is making people believe it's true. Anyways, so what do you mean by propaganda?
I guess I make fun of Miguel. I mean, I know what he means by it, but every time he sees an advertisement or something, because he grew up in Cuba, there's no commercials. There's no advertisements.
So explain really quick. Cuba is a socialist country, so they don't have capital, they don't have traditional like private ownership. So there's no companies that are trying to advertise to you to sell something.
Yeah, it's all like government regulated.
Right.
Heavily.
Right. So every time he sees an advertisement here, he says it's propaganda.
It's literally called propaganda.
Advertisements are called propaganda. Oh, yeah, right.
The name.
In
I
Spanish.
don't know what it's called. So I learned Cuban Spanish, and I think only Mexicans or other Spanish speakers will be able to laugh and point that out. But English speakers don't understand when I speak Spanish. They're like, "Oh, he's totally." Because for me, that's just the word I learned for advertisement. Propaganda.
Sure. But then the question was, why don't you watch the news? It's because of the advertisements?
It just looks, it feels the same to me.
Oh, yeah, right. There are like those super cuts on YouTube of like just Fox news stations across the country repeating like word for word the same rhetoric.
I guess.
Well, what do you mean by the same?
Okay, so if I'm going to really look something up and I want to know the truth about a situation, you have to like do proper research, not just confirmation bias. Like look for the things that say exactly what you might think is untrue.
Right, but would you consider the mainstream news to be one of your sources if you're going to look for something?
Oh yeah, it's one, but it's not. It's just about relative. I hear enough of it from the people who watch enough of it that I think I get a better picture with it just being maybe 20% of the news I consume. I mean, news.
So do you think?
So if I find an article that's really interesting, and I'm like, okay, let's see what this is saying and who's saying it, and if I want to know whether that person is, if what they're saying is truly unbiased, then I'm gonna go research it more, and that doesn't always take me to other news articles because they're just saying the same surface level shit that first got me interested in what I was reading.
Okay,
you know what I mean?
Sure. So
because people are like, oh, where'd you hear that? Did you do it? And it's like, it's not those things. It's never those things. Like,
yeah.
Then where did you? I was like, I don't know. I heard something weird, and then I like looked it up, and it's like, oh wow, this is going on. Like,
so
like the
something I've been quite. I don't know, like Jimmy Dore, he's a comedian, but he also does like progressive news on YouTube. And he has been...
what does progressive news mean?
Progressive is like left.
No, progressive news.
Right, so he covers things from... If conservative is like... I guess from a what is progressive?
Like the issues that they're more...
Right, so he's covering issues from a progressive point of view. Well, I have a definition of...
I hope it's not point of view. I mean...
Well, let me show you a definition of populism, and I would argue that populism and progressive has a lot of overlap in terms of the politics that they endorse. And so I have it right here. So, a populist is a person, especially a politician, who strives to appeal to ordinary people who feel that their concerns are disregarded by established elite groups. And the adjective is relating to or God damn it, characteristic of a political approach that strives to appeal to ordinary people who feel that their concerns.
Ordinary people.
I think ordinary
Compared
people
to
is
extraordinary
no.
people? Who's
Ordinary
extraordinary
people are like the working class. There are the elite who make a lot of money. Who
So they're extraordinary.
yeah, you could say so. In a fiscal point of view, sure. Ordinary people make the ordinary salary.
The average
Right.
salary compared to
Yeah, so everyone who's getting $1,200,
Wait, so
that's
can
an
you put that-
ordinary.
what was that?
That's an ordinary person.
Yeah, like if they
From-
make a certain okay, and so that means they strive to appeal to them, which in our country you would think that our politicians, I'm not talking about Russia, China, whatever, but I only know what our government's supposed to do, and politicians strive to appeal to the
Yeah, it's a
Aren't
simple.
all
it's a
our
s-
politicians supposed to be populist? What does this mean?
Well, I'm just from Jimmy Dore's point of view, he seems to be more progressive because he seems to be more so
Ordinary.
Look at the news. So look at the news, for example. We've been at war for almost 20 years now, and all of the news coverage from the mainstream media, from like Fox to CNN to MSNBC to Times, they're all pro-war. Even Penguin.
Because, yeah.
And so it's like when you say all the news is the same, it's like, yeah, they really are. Because it doesn't matter if they're like a Democratic news source like CNN or a Fox news source, like or a Republican news source like Fox. Like they're all spouting the same rhetoric of you can hardly find an anti-war story, which is interesting to me. And we spend over $500 billion a year on war every year since it started. I mean, around $500 billion.
Which war? Which war started?
I guess the second Iraq war, the one that started after 9/11 that we're still in.
Yeah.
Anyways, so
I know there was that meme where it's like,
so
you want to start another war?
Right. So the military.
Finish the ones you got at home first.
The military-industrial complex. It's the reason why I feel like the mainstream media is compromised. And here are some.
But you know how many people feel that they make money through that system that they can't break away. They don't know how to break away from.
Who?
The military-industrial complex. Like we had to do some bids that we almost won, but because, and one of the buyers from DC, anyways, they said it's been protested. We might have to give it, because I was like, we're a small business too, so we're under this SBA. We get to, and he basically had to tell me, like, you will shut down this small city in South Carolina if you win this contract.
Yeah, I'm not.
And I'm like,
I'm not saying that the industry can survive without us spending so much money overseas. We don't have to spend $500 billion
money on BS. You
without
can redo the
bankrupting
budget.
these little towns. Like we can reinvest that money into these little towns.
Yeah,
they
now
don't
they
have
can
to
make masks and ventilators.
Right. They don't have to guilt trip you into saying we have to make missiles or whatever. Anyway, so
Yeah, but at what point? Like everybody's under that same,
I know it has to come from the top. There has to be a president
I don't
willing
know. Everyone
to
keeps
break
telling
away.
us it's not going to come from the top.
No, but that's the thing. Who else can go over all of the people stopping it in Congress? Everyone who's bought, every congressman who's bought by either big pharma or military industrial complex, who else can go over them? That's why it has to go over the people who's stopping it. Anyways, so here's an article from Fair, I think around 2004. So sometimes a media-owning corporation is itself a significant weapons merchant. In 1991, when my colleague Martin Lee and I looked into the stake that one major media invested company had in the latest war, what we found was sobering. NBC's owner, General Electric, designed, manufactured, or supplied parts or maintenance for nearly every major weapon system used by the U.S. during the Gulf War, including the Patriot and Tomahawk cruise missiles, the stealth bomber, the B-2 bomber, the AWACS planes, and the Navstar spy satellite system. In other words, we wrote in unreliable sources, when correspondents and paid consultants on NBC television praised the performance of U.S. weapons, they were extolling equipment made by GE, the corporation that pays their salaries. And so you have to think, every time you hear a pro-war story that even like mentions equipment, are they plugging the people that make the equipment because those are the same people that pay them to share the news?
Yeah, if they're all connected.
Right. And so that was in 1991. So yeah, a long time ago. Maybe things have changed, but let's see if there's anything from the current war, huh? During just 1 year, 1989, General Electric had received close to $2 billion in military contracts related to systems that ended up being utilized for the Gulf War. 15 years later, the company still had a big stake in military spending. In 2004, when the Pentagon released its list of top military contractors for the latest fiscal year, General Electric ranked 8th with $2.8 billion in contracts.
General Electric makes a lot of stuff.
Right. So yeah, Yarni, you used to work with military contracting, right?
Yeah.
So
every contract had GE parts. Even our harnesses for the Humvees that had no weapons on. You know, we made stuff that was like for light fixtures to replace the lights on side lights, and it had cables in there that were, you know, like or tiny parts. So they were on our parts list. On every product we made. Yeah.
So if you were GE and you had...
They don't have to do weapons. They could be fridges.
If you were a company and you had a $2.8 billion contract a year with the government, would you... And you also own like a media outlet. Like, would you ever print anything anti-war on your media outlet? Because you would be losing that contract, right?
Well, yeah, because all those contracts are done through DOD.
Yeah, and if the Department of Defense has nothing to defend against, then there's no reason to spend all that money.
So if they start winning more contracts for other things and it's more profitable for them to build other things, I'm sure they'll go into that. But again, they're going to keep rebidding for all of these things that they don't even have to. They're not even bidding for these things at this point.
No,
there are companies
they don't
bidding.
Have to.
They don't. They just have to know that. They just know that a lot of their stuff being built and made to specific Anyway,
they increased this year. Or last year they increased war spending, $130 billion a year. While they were impeaching Trump, Nancy Pelosi, she signed off on all of Trump's war spending bills. If you thought someone was in the hands of Putin, or would you give them $130 billion a year?
I really think he's pretty busy doing his own shit over there.
No, but then what was all the Russiagate about? It was all a farce.
He's a showman.
No, the Democrats are the showmen. They're the ones who brought it up. Anyways, I'm not.
They make money.
Everyone makes money while we stay at war. And okay, so I guess there's a question.
They make money by you watching them too.
Do you think we have?
Keep watching.
Yeah, because I'm a sucker for change. But anyways,
is that what you call it for?
Do you think there is I don't know. Do you think that we're...
If you keep showing me this shit, I might leave the country.
All of the working people, are we all just caught up in the momentum of where the money is flowing? Like, there's just no way to stop it. You just have to work with it. If the money is flowing towards war, we're just going to be at war for the next 180 years.
You just got to convince them you got something of more value that's worth their money than wherever they're putting it. Because money without putting it somewhere really will lose its value. It has no value.
Yeah, that's why Satoshi Nakamoto left us. He's like, I tried. Do what you will. Well, anyways. Why else don't people watch the news?
Oh, is that what you're trying to get to? I'm like, why
No, we're still on it. We're talking about, so, you know,
who's not watching the news?
I don't know. I don't think people are watching mainstream news anymore, but that's just an anecdotal.
You think they're not? They're making a lot of money. That's why I think they love the Trump presidency, man. Like,
no, but I think there is
so ridiculous.
There is a growing number of people who are getting their news on YouTube, and you have to ask yourself why. What's driving these people?
Because they're already on YouTube. I already told you that.
Well,
everyone hearing the news on YouTube were because they were on YouTube.
I think you just get a perspective on YouTube that you don't get on mainstream news.
Okay, well, that's maybe you should. Yeah, maybe you have another, because that's how I see it.
So
why do you then think?
Yeah, so there are also 15 billionaires that own America's news media companies. Billionaires have by Kate Vinton. This is Forbes, June 1st, 2016. So maybe more or less.
Good investors will always diversify, though.
Billionaires have long exerted influence on the news simply by owning U.S. media outlets. Some billionaires, like Rupert Murdoch and Michael Bloomberg, are longtime media moguls who've made their fortunes in the news business. Others, like Amazon founder Jeff Bezos, bought publications as a side investment after building a substantial fortune in another industry. Here's a look at some of the billionaires.
Yeah, you have to also understand that the news media news is all owned by pretty much entertainment companies. Are they not?
Well, right. So if only 15 people own the major news outlets where, like, I don't know, millions of Americans get their news, like, don't you think that's a disproportionate amount of people who are giving the news versus the people who are receiving it? Anyways, it's just things like this that make me realize how important, you know, and I get it. YouTube's owned by billionaires too, so YouTube's not any different. But YouTube definitely has become a different platform for people to express views that aren't by media outlets
censored.
Well, no, not that aren't by media outlets that are pushing an agenda for their corporation bottom line, or that are owned by other billionaires who have
independence,
who have you know, other incentives in mind, or, you know, they have ambitions, and it shows in their reporting. If you give it enough time, like, you'll see it. Anyways,
I do. I mean, I don't know. I don't see it.
People should
I don't watch
diversify
YouTube.
their news sources, is all I'm saying.
Do you want me to watch YouTube news? Is that what you want?
No, it's just a question of, like, what is wrong with the news? Why do we call it fake news? Like, where do people get their news, I guess, is an even better question. Yeah, how do people stay informed? I guess the internet has changed a lot of that.
I feel like I'm always coming out from under a rock. It's like a perpetual, I come out of a rock and then I'm living around for a while and then I realize I'm still under another rock and I get out from under that rock. That's how I feel like I've been living my life.
because the news is changing so fast?
I don't know, because, like, the reality I've been living my life in isn't all that. It's like not. I don't like.
So, what do you? So from the news that you watch, and try to forget whatever, because I know you watch me edit some stuff, but and that's different than the news you watch. But what do you think about Joe Biden?
Oh, that poor man should have retired a long time ago.
So there was do I want to get into this now? Should we talk about Joe Biden? It's 2:50.
Politics again? Y'all want to talk politics?
I don't know what else to talk about.
I know, we're at that age, I guess.
You didn't produce any stories.
Oh, because my stories are about like kids and their parents going crazy, and I'm not the only one that has lost track of all my schedules.
Oh, that's right. You have kids. You want to talk about that?
See, nothing will make you question reality more, I feel like, than your kids. That was my epiphany about kids.
Why? What do you mean?
Where they're constantly questioning you and questioning things in ways that you're just like, wait, what? Just shut up! Whoa, shit. You can negotiate with anybody else but me. I'm just kidding. Or, yeah, I don't know. You remember what it was to be a child, I guess, when they try to explain things to you.
Do you want to talk about economics?
Oh, yeah. Economics.
We talked so much about Clean Farms. I'm surprised. Well, okay.
Allocation of resources. Understanding, defining what is the resource, who needs that resource, and how to best allocate.
That might be more like macroeconomics. I think economics in general is just trade.
Like that's like
Actually, let's look it up.
For me, I've had to learn. Okay, right now my resource is time, or right now my resource is money, or right now my resource is my sanity. And it's like you have to appropriate things before. I can't speak and read at the same time. Is that a problem everybody has?
Just you.
Oh, shit.
Oh, yeah, careful. Economics, the branch of knowledge concerned with production, consumption, and transfer of wealth, or the condition of a region or group as regards material prosperity.
I think that's why people think that they should not understand economics, but I think it is a vital part of learning how to function as a human, is being able to assess your like local economics.
Or just being able to assess the value in a trade, whether that's like your hourly wage,
that's what I'm saying,
or
whether your resource be time,
right,
or money, or and what it is you're lacking. Yeah, it's like trade. It's
so
like those games where you learn how to, collect stuff and gather yeah. But this makes it seem like the only people that should know or do anything about it should be those people of great wealth.
That's mine.
Oh,
that's
sorry.
Fine. I got this one. Okay, yeah.
We got that out.
So no, that's the point. It's like if the government has a lot of leverage.
Oh, by the way, I know nothing about economics. Only what I tried to learn through what is it?
That's okay. Tomorrow. Okay. Fine. I'm sorry, one more time?
Only what I tried to learn when we were doing our fundraising.
Oh, right, yeah.
Remember the fundraising for Simply? We
Uh-huh.
didn't try to just make Clean Farms. We have co-founded a bunch of different things. Because once we realized the issues that the weed businesses were having, the cannabis industry, then we were like, oh, there's opportunity to provide so many more solutions to this like new industry that like is just up and coming, and it's gonna keep coming because this is a consumable product.
Yeah, right.
Exchanged for real money. Trust me, I've never seen that much cash, just hard cash.
We had to learn a lot of kind of finance as well, just because of the nature of cannabis. It's not federally legal, and so There's no
Not only is it not
traditional
federally legal,
finance.
it's completely illegal.
Right, no,
unless you try to
it's legal in the
hide
state,
under
but
the
then even though it's not legal in the state, there is
Schedule
still
1 drug.
right. You still don't have banking, any banking that's insured by the government by FDIC. You can't use. You can't get insurance for the industry. There's no credit, and so a lot of the finance you have to do is really like how finance was done when everyone was still using cash. And so it's
Oh yeah, it's an all cash.
so you kind of see it like in a real literal way how things are flowing in the cannabis industry because you still have to show up cash in hand if you want a deal. It's like imagine if you had to go buy a car with cash in hand. And like if all cars were still sold like that.
That's why they say it's like illegal, and that's why I felt I'm like, why can't I use my bank? Why can't we? Like,
No, right.
We have
So you
technologies
think about
to be able to make this transaction and make it safer. You're bringing not only the hard cash, but also all this product, like it's risky, and it's like there are safer ways to do this. But then after all the breaches and stuff, I'm like, maybe this is the safest way to move money. It's like quite literally the note that's been issued by the government. And it's surprising and it's quite startling how many people won't accept it anymore.
Yeah.
Doesn't that alert anybody?
I like to judge facts that I know by how surprising they are to people. And so I had this one coworker. He's a really smart guy. His name's Mundy, or that's his nickname, I guess. And I told him this fact.
Does he sell weed?
No, he doesn't do any drugs. I once had an argument with him that sugar was worse than cocaine.
Yes. By far. If you saw how my kids...
We couldn't agree until... I thought of this later, but we couldn't agree with how to compare them. Like, you can't compare like 5 grams of sugar to 5 grams of cocaine. Because obviously 5 grams of cocaine is worse. But then if you compare the dollar amount of sugar to the dollar amount of cocaine, if like $5 of cocaine to $5 of sugar... Well, how about even then the cocaine is way safer.
I come from like a medical and statistics background of like after the fact. How about how many like medical, what's the costs medically?
Oh, sure, of sugar. Yeah, I know. That's what I was arguing. Sugar kills more people a year than cocaine.
Not only that, all the people with type 2 diabetes.
Exactly.
Like all the
These
people
are
who
all
have to be on insulin.
People
now.
Who are overdosing on sugar.
It's not just the sugar. It's like how much does the insulin makers make?
Yeah. I joke all the time that sugar is legal cocaine. And
people
who have done both will laugh. But people who have done neither would be like, no, it's not. Or not neither, but one. Anyways, so... There's this fact that
I've had to take insulin.
There are more hundreds in the U.S. economy in cash than 20s. Can you believe that?
Yeah, you know how many hundreds I had to go through?
No, I know, and so it's like
way easier to count.
There are economists that say like
that
the thing,
even like some jewelry and stuff. A lot of things are still done in cash.
The thing that got us through, what was that? Oh, I don't know where that went. I should figure it out.
But it's still like makes you feel illegal.
The thing, like, just think about the billions that are going through the cannabis industry. Do you think it's in the billions, the cash that flows through the cannabis industry in the United States?
Oh, in all of the United States?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. It's all in cash. And that's not even including all the other drugs. that's just the cannabis.
All the other drugs, like even the pharma drugs?
No. There are people, there are people in the darknet that won't deal with like pharmaceuticals anymore because they think those are
the worst
more
drugs.
Dangerous. Like, or maybe
like,
at least
weed all day. I won't
at least the ones that I've seen was like fentanyl, like the really
Yes, and they're
Crazy
being prescribed for
pharmaceutical ones.
chronic pain. That's the path
Yeah.
I recognize. Once you see what the protocols and like the when and how and they're being approved through the FDA to be used as effective treatments, you're like, that's sad.
Wait, so can we
That's a slippery slope that you're putting a lot of people who are in a lot of chronic pain and you're going to approve.
can we keep talking about sugar for a second?
Okay, yes.
Um
The worst of them.
yeah, can we talk about Michelle
They're gonna
Obama?
be like, oh, that's not. No, I brought her up earlier because you were talking crap about like, oh, you kept showing that AOC bit on The View about her kind of like selling out and not and like diverting instead of going head on. And I'm like, wait a minute. This is like you said, the View, they're Republican, conservative, and they brought her on. Like, she obviously knows who the audience is going to be. Like, she can't be so offensive that they're
No,
like,
right. And I'm not showing the clip because I think it's fair. Like,
Okay.
I don't think what she did was out of line.
And also, like, when you see that they're not voting a certain way, it's really easy for the people in the audience to be like, oh, if you really stood for what you could have voted. And it's like, but what else was on it? And what else is behind them, like, telling them.
I understand,
and
but
so
how powerful
Michelle Obama
is the sugar
knew-
industry?
It's not just, like I said, it's not just the sugar. It's everybody else who uses sugar or who benefits from whatever is the problem.
Yeah. Like cranberry juice. I know. It would be an inedible
insulin
juice.
makers,
Sure.
or
But
like, yeah, anything. It's like, well, then you're going to give it to the corn people?
But still,
High
no.
fructose corn syrup. That's even worse than pure cane sugar and blah, blah, blah. It's like, okay, that's just.
But at the sacrifice of what? Children's health? What's the compromise there?
So she switched to
Exercise more, which is not the answer. It's clear
No,
diet. Okay.
Clearly, what you eat must be controlled.
Right, thank you. Okay, yeah, that's what I'm getting at. Is the
But
diet
you
is
can't
way
shit
more
what you didn't
important.
eat.
What you consume is way more important than what you output in exercise.
That's why I don't eat any sugar, but I snort cocaine all day.
Oh my god.
I'm just kidding. You're gonna edit. It said 0 viewers.
That's fine. I know. I don't want to. Editing takes time.
Oh, just kidding. It's coffee.
Yeah.
But seriously, even coffee every day, all day. I was limited on caffeine intake during pregnancy.
How much coffee can you drink?
I think 300 milligrams. So 3
It's like a
small
cup?
normal cups. 3.
Yeah, because I
Because
think
the stress, limiting all this on the women was causing a lot of stress and then a lot of postpartum depression because all the things that we consumed on a normal basis that's now deemed all like bad for us, but also helped us like stay normal or stay,
like sushi.
In moderation's okay. Yeah, they won't say no sushi in Japan.
Oh really?
Yeah, because it's like
That's where
they don't say
they
no cold cuts and soft cheeses in Europe.
What's wrong
It's
with
like you're
yeah.
gonna take out half their diet. They only say the things that they know that it's like. And then when you actually talk to a good, sane OBGYN, they'll tell you, do only this much, do only this much. That much, it will cause problems. Do you need help cutting back? Do you need, and they always provide those things if you're honest and if you have a good doctor. But coffee's my sugar. No, it's not as bad as sugar. My kids, it's like, yeah.
Well, maybe we should
They'll
explain.
do anything for sugar.
Yeah, maybe we should explain the Michelle Obama thing really quick. So Michelle Obama, when she became first lady, I think usually the first ladies, they have something they want to accomplish while, I guess they're first lady.
They're in office. Yeah,
Right, and so she had a great, I guess like a diet campaign. It was like cutting back on like sugar.
America was having like an obesity
Yeah, we were going through an obesity epidemic, and I think we still are, right?
As long as we don't keep pushing up standards, like it's okay.
And yeah, they were highlighting how she was really a proponent for like eating healthier, and then her message changed to exercise, And
like this again, like the president physical fitness test.
right, and it's
a lot of people did exercise, and then they got really bulky, and then when they couldn't like exercise that much, and they didn't,
you know
their
how
eating,
hard it
really
is
fat.
to, and I've tried. You know how hard it is to lose weight by running? It's like impossible. You'll never lose weight
if you
by
stop
running.
eating,
yeah, if you diet, you'll immediately like you give up the soda, you stop snacking, like you eat cleaner, and all of a sudden like 15 pounds are gone.
No, but I mean, it's quite literally what's most effective in losing weight. And if you have to do one thing, change one thing,
Stop eating.
Running or stop eating, it's always going to be stop eating. So go from there and figure out what it is. Like, if that's your goal to lose weight, you need to either cut back on stuff or like start doing a calorie. It's simple. It's not simple math, but it's like 3,500 calories for a pound. If you can cut that out of your diet each week, you will lose a pound a week, or 7,000, 3,500 calories. I don't know. I forgot my math on these things.
Yeah. So yeah, and a lot of people kind of got upset because they felt like Michelle Obama sold out to the sugar industry, or like people who would benefit from keeping these kids buying their products.
Yeah. No, it's...
Anyways, and it's...
When I had to take... I didn't... Because I've never been, like... I'm never technically fat. Although I'm short, so when I'm overweight, I could be... I used to border on overweight.
The BMI is not a great metric.
Always... Yeah. Now I'm like, how do I change when my body hasn't changed? My stats haven't changed. But I was allowed to eat anything. And I have a huge sweet tooth. Just like I had to limit Adriana because that's when I had to take insulin and take my blood sugar every time I ate. Like, I took that, and it was so expensive. I'm glad I had insurance. I don't know how people would do it. They would just die. They would quite literally die.
Yeah. If you didn't if you had to buy insulin.
Yeah, and they couldn't take their blood and monitor. Those strips are expensive. Those needle things. I'm like, I'm gonna go look it up for the animals because they use the same thing. I'm just gonna go buy that stuff. I had to give cats insulin before. It's like way cheaper. I'm gonna go rate a hospital. Anyways, from then on, I'm like, okay, I'm taking this seriously. This is the only addiction I'm going to admit to that I'm going to cut. Sugar, because that was horrible. 2 types of insulins, 4 times a day. I had to jam it in my stomach. The more pregnant I got, the worse it got, because not only did my belly get bigger, I had to take more insulin.
You know what helped me get off?
And people are like, "What is that lady doing?"
Do you know what helped me get off sugar?
What?
So I used to like soda. I drank a lot of sparkling water. Not sparkling water, like the LaCroix or the Kirkland brand, the flavored sparkling water. Just because I read somewhere that we have...
That's not good for heartburn, by the way. Don't drink too much carbonated water.
I don't anymore. Now I just drink water. But soda is really hard to quit. And it's like, one, it's like refreshing. 2, it's like tasteful. And it like... It fulfills exactly what you're craving whenever you're craving soda. You know what I mean? And it's like...
I feel like some people feel like that with beer.
Sure.
I had a hard time cutting out beer when because that has too many calories.
Yeah.
And soda too. Too many calories. It's all carbs.
But then, there's also like ice cream and like candy. But anyways, so sparkling water got me off the soda, flavored sparkling water, and cheese got me off of the other sweets. So that's when I started looking at Gouda.
Yeah, cheese is a good cheese and nuts.
Right, finding other things to snack on. But then I found that aged Gouda had it that like it was like nutty, creamy, and also sweet, almost like a chocolate. And it was just like satisfying enough where I didn't need something sweet, like a sugary snack. I could eat like cheese, and that's when I started like. That's why I buy aged Gouda at like the Costco because it's I find it more satisfying than ice cream, and I don't have to eat as much. I don't eat nearly as much cheese as ice cream.
That's true. I get Adriana to drink drink milk or eat milk by giving her ice cream. She won't drink any milk. She can't. I don't know.
Milk is hard. I wouldn't drink milk if I didn't like cereal so much. It's hard for me to drink milk by itself.
I know that's for a lot of people.
Yeah,
so I don't want to make it, but she gets plenty of calcium in like lots of different ways. But
you know what's interesting?
It's like iron and she gets everything else. All of those stuff that she gets from the milk, she gets from somewhere else. So.
The dairy industry was like trying to convince us for 20 years that milk was good for us.
Convince who?
Just consumers.
Oh yeah, like got
and
milk
like
and what? No, that's just a marketing thing.
No, right, and they're like their profits were still going down and down. And then
do you know how hard it is to get like?
So do you know any of them? Do you know any dairy marketing campaigns? I'm sure
Got
you know.
milk.
Right. They made the Got Milk campaign.
Oh, remember in
and
the
all
80s
of a sudden,
when they had? It's been longer than 20 years.
No. That's when they were losing. That's when they were losing money trying to convince people that milk was good for them.
I remember when they would use the 90s models in the magazines and their advertisements.
What, the Happy Cows one?
I don't see advertisements anymore much, but the advertisements, the Got Milk one goes way back. Like there would be supermodels and they've got the mustache.
Right. So they made the Got Milk campaign.
And
the weird thing about that campaign is their sales shot up, but the marketing campaign doesn't talk about the product. In fact, it talks about like the absence of the product.
Yeah.
And it's like this idea that marketing has to talk about the product like really changed like somewhere in the 90s. Like Nike, even if you look at a Nike advertisement, it's not about their shoes or their clothes. It's about the athletes that wear them, you know? Anyways, I thought that was a really interesting marketing campaign from the dairy industry. But yeah, people still aren't buying milk. Everyone's buying like almond milk, soy milk.
Well, their bodies aren't agreeing with it. And I'm like, even us as babies, it's like, why? We stopped giving our own children milk from our, why would we give them someone else's?
Because cheese and yogurt.
Oh no, that's fine. But those are products made from the milk. They're not just milk.
Mm-hmm.
Like
I know. Raw milk. I mean, I don't know if I've ever had raw milk actually.
Oh, raw milk is like $20 a gallon or something.
Is it good? Have you had it?
Probably in Cuba. I think for California, unpasteurized is illegal.
Mm-hmm. I
don't drink just milk though. Only unless I'm eating like a chocolate edible or mushrooms that taste like no, they don't taste good with milk either. What would I drink? Only chocolate.
Do you know the B12 protein or whatever? It's like the one thing that's like in meat that vegans have to like get supplements for because they don't eat meat.
I'm not sure, but I'm sure there's something that maybe they need.
Never mind. I talked about it with a vegan once. It was interesting. I was like, then where do you get it?
Where does he get it? Yeah.
He was like, well, they sell raw water, and I'm like, here? He was like, no, you can't get it here. I guess it's just water and dirt. I don't know. Oh yeah, so I think cows get it, and cows get it from the dirt. And then
it's a mineral then that
B12?
we take out. No.
Is a nutrient that keeps my.
What?
Yeah.
Cereal? Oh.
It's in animal products. That's why it's like the argument that we need to eat meat is because of this vitamin. B12.
We don't make it ourselves. If they make it, how come we can't make it?
They don't make it. They eat it from the ground, I think.
Oh, I'm like, is it their bodies?
I think it comes
their
from
muscles?
the environment around them. Oh, busting the vitamin B12 myth.
So if someone says this is how I would look at my news, and I would go into like medical stuff and be like, what exactly is B12? Where is it used in our bodies? How is it used? And then
that's what computers in the future are going to be able to do.
I know, that'd be so much easier.
They'll just be like, here's the data, and you're like,
information.
thanks,
you could
Siri.
just ask Yeah, but the thing is, they're trolling through dairy that maybe that's just the same thing that we're kind of going through. I'm like, they can only learn from what we tell it to do. Like, well, I guess, if you program one to go to the appropriate places.
If we made a
then that gets
competitor
bugged.
to Siri called Siri, do you think Tom Cruise would come after us?
What? I don't know.
Do you know who Siri Cruise is?
Yes.
All right. Well, it's almost time for Utah's 420.
Do we get enough B12?
We eat a lot of meat. I had 2 hot dogs today. But because I wanted to get on the live stream on time.
She brushes them all too. Wow. Why would those kitties ever want to go to another home?
Yeah, it's like we don't want to be adopted. Leave us alone.
They're gonna probably just keep running away and kind of. Oh, I guess maybe not all of them like to be pet, and they just want to be in their own space. OG was grumpy around other cats.
So cute.
So do people... Is that their shirt? You know, the shirt she's
The
wearing?
forum, no. That's I think they're in LA. I think the forum's in LA.
I wonder if they were a sponsor. Because she's been all over, and I see that to the point where I remember the name.
The forum?
Uh-huh.
No, I think that just looks like a...
It's just a shirt she's wearing.
Yeah, it says 2019 on it.
I know, but...
Oh yeah, it's almost time.
This is for the mountain folk?
Mm-hmm. Is that mountain time? I guess so, huh? Colorado, Rocky time? A minute and a half. I will take...
UI benefits. The servers are down. It's not the Reddit hug, it's the workers hug. Now the non-workers. How many non-workers? I severely underestimated this round of unemployment. Because I was like, if that many people didn't find employment from the last one, how do they... Oh, because they expanded who could file, right? Oh. Ooh.
Let's look for a meme to share.
There's 2 OGs, an OP, and a PP.
Okay, it's almost caught up. It does freaking lag.
What? Because she was
I
Asian?
think so. All right, happy 420, everyone.
Woo! 420 somewhere. That somewhere be you. We celebrating.
Oh yeah. No. It hasn't been easy, but somehow we overcame, and we're here with you. Which
I wonder if
not
your
a bad-
frustration levels show in the beginning if you're really frustrated. I feel like your face doesn't move much, whereas mine's like very...
it's because the screen doesn't
Mine's
move
just
much.
grumpy. I'm just always grumpy. I'm the grumpy cat. Wait, so you get your news on YouTube?
I guess I get it on Reddit too. Whatever's on the front page of Reddit, because that's where I learn about. Literally, that's where I learned about Kobe. When Kobe died, it was on Reddit.
I learned it from Trung, who was sitting next to me.
Every shooting, I learn on Reddit first. There's rarely a shooting that happens that I don't learn.
That's because you're on Reddit a lot, whereas Chung's on YouTube a lot, and so he hears things.
Mm-hmm. I guess Reddit's where I go first if I want to like browse the news quickly. Admittedly, it's not a good place to get news, though.
10 years ago, I used to do like MSN. I used to go to websites.
Yeah, I used to go to Yahoo.
Yes, I would do that just for like the media news. Now, I don't know where to go because I don't have TV and I don't do YouTube. So, for the most part, I feel like... This is why he should have retired.
I mean, we can go over it. I have a segment on this. So, you think Joe Biden should have retired?
A long time ago.
So, what do you think's going on? Do you think he wants to be president?
Did you see how much Obama aged in those 8 years?
Oh yeah, no, every single president.
Like he had been through. Yes,
he would age back into a fetus.
Except not.
He would go beyond death, and then
he
be
would
a
look
baby.
like a thing from from
Benjamin
Harry Potter.
Button. Oh, ew. Yeah, I remember we talking
the guy
about.
Under
so
the
weird.
Something bit me. Do we have mosquitoes here?
There was the thing that looks like a mosquito that's not a mosquito.
So I'm like, why is she always itching her leg? But it might not look like my leg because it's like right in front of my crotch.
Gross. Anyways, so you think he should have retired a while ago. Why do you think he's still in?
They put him up to it.
Yeah, well, it's true.
I bop it.
So, I guess now's a good time. Let's watch this clip. Oh, I guess another question. Do you think Medicare for All is more popular now? Okay, so I had this discussion with a Democrat. I don't really identify as a Democrat. I identify with anyone who has populist policies. And so that can be Democrat or Republican. But anyways, I had an argument with the Democrat about Joe Biden, and I was like, Joe Biden doesn't have a single policy that you can name. And also, Joe Biden isn't adopting any of Sanders' policies. So what is he actually running on? Is he just running to bring things back to the way before Trump was in president? Because if that happens, we're just going to get another Trump. Anyways, his argument was that Joe Biden will adopt Sanders' policies to attract the Sanders voters. And
that's what they always do.
Right, but then when it comes... He hasn't even gone that far, though.
No.
And
I don't know why they keep pushing it.
And even in this pandemic... Oh, I know. I guess, yeah, if we have enough time, we'll get to it. So even in this pandemic...
This is what I like. The Democrats feel like the second string to the Republicans. That's it. Like
they are. They're Republicans that can't get as much out of the system. So they feign to have progressive policies to get the left votes, but then when it gets down to it,
they sell out.
Yeah, they're funded by the same donors. So here's a clip of Joe Biden being asked about Medicare for All.
As you've been seeing, our healthcare system seems to be crumbling underneath this crisis. There is not enough. There's not enough support for the healthcare system. There's not enough support for the American people inside of the healthcare system. Are you now reconsidering your position when it comes to single-payer healthcare?
Single payer will not solve that at all. The thing that is needed is, for example, we have a whole number of hospitals that are being so stretched, including rural hospitals, they're going to need more financing. That doesn't come from a single payer system. That comes from the federal government stepping up and dealing with the concerns that they have, the reimbursement that they're going to get, how they're going to be able to move forward, and how they're going to be able to provide all the needed help that are needed in their communities.
So they ask him, do you think a single payer system can solve this problem? And he says, no. What the hospital needs is for the federal government to step in and help like the rural hospitals. And it's like,
Isn't that
right, what is a single payer healthcare system other than the government intervening directly with the healthcare providers without the private insurance and
stuff?
health industry and health administration in the way? It's like how much more effective. It's like adding more gears to a bicycle. Like at a certain point, you're losing efficiency. And so if the government had direct control with the healthcare system, which Joe Biden is somehow describing, that's a single payer healthcare system. It's like everyone is paying for the same administration to administer. So if
like England, don't they have the NHS?
right, yeah, I mean England has the NHS, so does Canada.
What does
They have a
Canada-
single.
yeah, I'm like,
they love their
there's
healthcare. No one that has a single payer healthcare system wants to adopt our healthcare. That should tell you everything you need to know about the American healthcare system. And so Joe Biden is still like,
It's just weirdly backwards, and I think Americans are just used to it. I didn't understand how weird it was until I lived in Cuba.
I think a lot of
And
Americans.
the people who think it's weird are only the people who see it from the outside.
It's-
they're Europeans,
Right,
or they're,
and so
Canadians, or they're not Americans.
yeah, I can speak to this because I believed it for a long time too. I didn't feel like I had any. I still don't really feel like I have any impact on the political system. And well, we can talk about it. So Joe Biden is in the news a lot, and a lot of people are what I call is feeling Biden remorse. Like they're realizing Biden isn't a real. He's not a viable candidate. He's not attracting anyone new. He's doing well in the primaries, but so a lot of people have been
He should have
floating.
retired.
No, so a lot of people have been floating this idea that Joe Biden will be replaced at the convention. And let's see.
Is that like when they were scared that guy, that Jackson, which
I have,
was
I have
gonna win?
So okay, so here's a tweet. Well, let me get to this first. So here's a tweet by Bill Maher. He said this a few days ago, earlier this week. As today should be the start of baseball, let me offer an analogy. Let's take out a tired starter who's been wobbly through fourth and is going to get shelled in the later innings. Let's go to the bullpen and bring in a real ace. Biden should step aside and let NYC Gov Cuomo be the nominee. So this guy Cuomo is starting to make a lot of news. Now a lot of people are actually just saying blatantly that, hey, maybe this guy should be the nominee. And is that a new idea? Not according to Ryan Grimm. Ryan Grimm says on Twitter, just remembered something from my book. In 1988, the Democratic establishment crafted a backup convention plan if Dukakis couldn't stop Jesse Jackson. They were going to give the nomination to Mario Cuomo, Andrew's dad, at a brokered convention. So,
So far for democracy.
yeah, so I guess in 1988, the year I was born. So you were 10. I don't
Democratic
even.
Republic
Do you remember this? You would have been 10 at this time, or 9. Jesse Jackson was
Yeah, because
apparently.
we still had TV news, and Omanapa loved putting on, and we got a good mix of both because if you know, Oma's staunchly like Republican and Appa staunchly like Democratic, so until recently there's been a switch, but so we got like and I was like, that's where I was like, it's kind of like the same thing, but from a kind of different like standpoint on the same stuff.
It's
But
like
we've got a bit of different like rhetoric. Not real. Well,
imagine if I don't know,
you just know when they're against one person.
Yeah,
You're
imagine
like,
if,
whoa,
like,
they really don't want
Kawhi-
that person, but why?
yeah, imagine if like Kawhi Leonard was like the overall, like he's an NBA player on the Clippers and like he
But
just
the thing, I forgot. I remember. I realized I didn't care because at least this time they're at least this time they're on board with it.
Who?
Oh,
Oh,
my Napa. They were just like, yeah, they both
on board with what?
with just like, oh, we would vote for this person.
Right, but imagine
During
everyone.
this time of like, who's gonna be? Oh well, we can't have him.
Yeah, imagine everyone who voted for Jesse Jackson. Like, it's like, imagine if like in just like in any sport, if like Kawhi Leonard like and the Clippers like went all the way to the NBA Finals, and instead of awarding them the winners, they awarded like some player that didn't even make the playoffs.
End up.
Well, there's more. So, I think
I thought
Dukakis
Dukakis-
just ended up winning and losing anyways.
Yes.
So it's
Which
like,
is what I said was going to happen with Biden.
uh,
I didn't think they were going to switch it even if Biden got there. I didn't think they would do that. Like, they would be so obvious to like.
let's see. Let's talk about, so even Tucker Carlson, a guy that is on, a guy who's on Fox, so he's on the right. He says, Tucker Carlson says, Biden won't be the Democratic nominee. Andrew Cuomo, most likely. A guy.
But that's from the Republicans, right?
No, but even they're saying it. Do you know what I mean?
That's
like,
what I'm saying. So if the Democrats do that and the Republicans even call that, then that just proves what we said about the like they just don't want Bernie. I don't think.
Right, hold on.
He's too.
I need to organize this better. Tucker Carlson on Cuomo. So this is what Tucker Carlson.
Who is Tucker Carlson?
Tucker Carlson is a correspondent. He's on Fox News. I like his segment. I think he does fair reporting. But there's obviously like a conservative bias.
Mm-hmm.
But he has people on that I'm like, oh, like he gives people like a fair interview. Tucker Carlson says he believes Joe Biden will not be the Democratic nominee on Election Day, with the Fox News host offering New York Governor Andrew Cuomo as the candidate to take on President Trump in November. Well, the math doesn't work, but it's not about math. It's about will, the conservative Carlson said during Charlie LeDuff's podcast, No BS News Hour. When asked about the delegate math, when asked how the delegate math would work with the former vice president out in front of Senator Bernie Sanders by 1,237 to 914 margin. So the Democratic Party is intent on taking power, period, and they mean it, and they're willing to do kind of whatever they think works, he continued. I mean, that's demonstrable. So that's Tucker Carlson on who he thinks should be the Democratic nominee, and he says it right here. Well, the math doesn't work, but it's not about math. It's about will. So is the math in this case everyone who voted in the Democratic primary? Like, why even vote if a guy that didn't even run is gonna get the nomination? Even Michael Bloomberg had the gall to run.
Through this whole hoopla of the caucuses and the primaries in each state and county, and everyone had to do all of that, and now it's not going to count.
Yeah. It's like, my vote counts, I think. I don't know. Some guy who didn't even run just got the nomination. Like, why did everyone who vote in Ohio get COVID-19? You know? when the guy that got the nomination isn't even on their ballot. Anyways, I'm getting too angry at this.
Just stay true to your party, guys. Just stay true to the party. What? I was not invited to
okay,
no
so
party.
let's see
told
who
to stay at home.
let's see who this Cuomo guy actually is. Governor, 1%. There's an article. I think this is on. Crap, I can't remember where I got this. But it's by Akash Mehta. Even in a pandemic, Andrew Cuomo is not your friend. In chaotic times, New York Governor Andrew Cuomo wants to convince you he is the calm, competent leader you need. It's been effective, so effective, you might miss that even in a pandemic, Cuomo is fighting to protect the rich and impose austerity, including devastating Medicaid cuts on everyone else. So, whatever you hear about Cuomo in the news, well, let's see. Lest you thought he had turned a new leaf, Governor 1%, which is apparently Andrew Cuomo's nickname, is insisting on taking an axe to the state Medicaid budget, even at the cost of $6.7 billion in emergency federal aid, and lying about it. In the most unequal state in the nation, he is fighting to protect the rich and impose austerity on everyone else. Make no mistake, even in a pandemic, Andrew Cuomo is not your friend. I think that I was just repeating the same thing I just.
If he wasn't your friend not in the pandemic, why would he be your friend during the pandemic?
That's true.
Well, I'm asking a question. Like, what? Is there a why?
I'm sorry. No, I think it's just a style of writing. So, should we look at the Fed? I guess not.
Yeah, those billions won't go to him. They go to poor people.
So,
why is he going to vote for that?
When asked how average New Yorkers can be expected to make rent amid coronavirus economic devastation, Cuomo claims he took care of the rent issue, but he ignores rent cancellation legislation that is currently supported by dozens of legislators. He uses the pandemic as cover to roll back last year's bail reform laws that have reduced the state's prison population by thousands. He not only uses $2 an hour prison labor to rebottle hand sanitizer, but he also refuses to release elderly and sick inmates from filthy and crowded jails like Rikers Island. Now, as Cuomo calls for retired health professionals to re-enlist and orders hospitals to expand capacity at least 50%, that understaffing and the state's elimination of 20,000 hospital beds, which Cuomo has likely been the single most important person in bringing about. According to Sean Petty of the New York State Nurses Association, are major limits on New York's response to the pandemic. As Gottfried put it, the cuts have meant that at times like this, and even in normal times, we don't have the resources we need to keep people alive. So, what this means is, Cuomo has been calling for retired health.
Death of the week in a whole.
No, he's been calling for help from retired health professionals when he himself has been cutting hospital beds in the state, and his state isn't even ready to serve the sick on normal times. So now that issues have gotten even worse, he's still asking the people, for help. He's not even.
Well, because he didn't care for the people. Why should he care for the people now? If the people care, okay, here's a way for you to care.
I
don't understand why they would think that they would care now.
So here it is.
More in a pandemic than they did care normally. What, like, I feel like, yeah, he's true to how he was.
Right. So, but Cuomo continues to press cuts to Medicaid and other services. Pandemic be damned. Rather than make billionaires pay, his choice is incomprehensible to me and my coworkers, Buckley said, who pack up our clothes when we go to work, knowing we might be there for 16 or 24 hours, that we might bring home viruses that could kill our family members or ourselves. We cannot imagine how Medicaid cuts are being considered right now, rather than an extra tax on billionaires' yachts and second homes. Perhaps the explanation has something to do with the fact that over half of New York's billionaires on last year's Forbes 400 list have contributed to Cuomo's campaigns.
Well, he's not gonna. He doesn't want to piss on the building of the club he wants to be a part of.
Okay, so
I mean, is he not a billionaire yet?
just to summarize, take a minute to appreciate just how cruel the course that Cuomo's taking. It would mean ramming through $2.5 billion in cuts to the healthcare system that millions of the hardest hit New Yorkers are relying on to get through the world's worst healthcare crisis in a century, while simultaneously depriving the same system of nearly $7 billion in federal aid. Even if he ultimately caves to pressure from advocates and legislators to postpone the Medicaid cuts and take the federal money, the fact that he was prepared to go this route and that he likely made deep cuts to education spending regardless should open the eyes of even his most smitten admirers. And so, yeah, if you think Andrew Cuomo is doing a good job, how much better of a job could he be with, what is that, $9.5 billion more? That means he doesn't... The reason why the Fed
But to help who? Who are the people he cares about?
I understand that, but it's who is Andrew Cuomo? That's what we're asking. Is this guy just there? And I don't know if the DNC is seriously considering this guy or not, but then look at both of the candidates that they're pushing, Biden and this guy, who are both staunchly opposed to Medicare for all for some reason. And so you're not going to get any progressives in the healthcare system any soon with either Biden or Andrew or Cuomo. Anyways.
I think they're also around people where a lot of the doctors that they know don't even take Medicare.
Well, it doesn't
understand a system without.
It doesn't matter.
Without
It's
that
like
option of not like they think it's a bad thing, regardless. You know what I mean?
If a crisis isn't good enough to make you help people who are in need, then nothing will ever be you will never help anyone.
He feels he is helping the people in need.
Sure.
The ones that are closest to him telling him, like, hey, dude, I just lost this much. And I'm going to have to close down this thing. And I'm going to have...
That's who Tucker Carlson thinks should be the Democratic nominee.
Because he thinks he'll win, or because he thinks Trump will beat him either way and it'll just help the Democrats lose?
I don't know. It's just
or he's some. I don't know because I've never heard him. So I don't know who this guy is, but is he the type to straight up say like that would be a good strategy, even if it's a strategy to give to like the opposing team?
I mean, in that case, why not just have Biden?
Because he's not going to win.
Yeah, if he doesn't think Cuomo's going to win, why would he?
When's the last time we had a? Maybe I shouldn't say that.
I thought I had another. I thought I had another screenshot.
Were these supposed to be our segments?
We haven't even. This is only our second one, so we're actually ahead.
Oh, okay. What did you want to say about that? Like, so let's say the Democrats want him.
It's just what we were talking about before. Does your vote really matter? And that goes for everyone who voted for like Pete, Amy, Warren, anyone. If this guy comes in and becomes a nominee and he wasn't on any ballot, does that why even have a vote? You know, it's like
we believe that they were representing us, the people, that the majority of the people, like one person is one person.
Yeah,
Not
but
how
now
much
it's
do they make? How much do they own? How much are they in charge of? One person can only take up one bed. It's like, of course, there's other, like, I don't know. It's whatever. Like I said, it's gonna get ugly. I think everything for us to be just talking about,
what do you mean ugly?
like this whole virus situation.
Oh yeah, I wanted to. I guess that's a segment
Even
we can go
Chauncey, I
over.
was like, you are now recognizing exponential growth. You studied this, right? Like,
Oh, this was mine.
right?
Where's the green one? Yeah. So
I'm
does
like,
Chauncey
you all
not
know
take it
what
serious? Or
exponential growth is. She's staunchly like, I don't. Now I'm mad because I'm like, this is how far politics has and business has gotten into. Like, not even letting you think straight. Someone I would trust with the health of my children,
yeah.
because she's a pediatrician, licensed, up to date, all that stuff. But even her, like, we've heard. I don't think, I was like, have you talked to an infectious doctor to be so like, oh, just don't do this, just don't do that. I'm like, we really shouldn't, I don't know, maybe because she's used to my morbid sense of humor, she thinks I'm just being humorous. But I really told her, I'm like, Americans have not, they have a weird death, fear of death, I think. And they haven't seen it or really, you know what I mean?
Right. So how bad do you think it's gonna get? I just wanted to try to pull up something so we can kind of get an estimation on. I guess we'll go down to Iran. I guess the UK. So yeah, we're see how the other
Is this the one she sent?
I don't know. I just looked up. This one looks like it has the latest numbers.
Yeah, because I have one too. Oh, that's how I triangulate number things. If everyone's just spitting out a whole bunch of different numbers, I try to like get it from, outside people who are normally taking tabs of stuff like this, who already have their counters and whatever in the hospitals and like in the systems to be able to give a right tally of stuff like that.
Yeah. So the U.S. we just went over. I think we had 1,000 deaths in a day, right?
I think that's the largest of any country. But yeah.
Wow.
But also the other day, China said they would release more numbers that
Yeah, the
they
China
were
ones-
accused of not. Well, because you have to look at the parameters, like how many asymptomatic people were tested, how many, like at when and where can skew the numbers, and if they're all trying to say we're under, we got it under control, then it really hurts
Do you
the
think
people
at
who are
this-
going to get hit ahead. But I don't know. If
I know some doctors who are the mindset that everyone's just gonna get it.
yeah, like of some form, like it's.
But at this point, you were just trying to save our healthcare workers.
Well, and also I can see why they don't want to create panic. The minute a whole bunch of people start panicking, you get like weird stuff. Luckily, our weird stuff was like we ran out of toilet paper for a couple days, but other people's weird stuff could be like rioting and like they freak out because they've been close to something like this,
Yeah.
like like lights going out and infrastructure not. Because people don't even understand where they get their food. Like that's what I understand. Like they don't know how to stock up. They don't like what? How do you not know how to make an emergency kit?
Yeah.
Like canned foods and stuff. And like the stuff that was missing, I was like, oh, I guess because city folk, they probably won't lose that like electricity or whatever. But they're just stuck. Well, I don't know. They'll have delivery. Koreans did the delivery thing.
Yeah, I
But
saw.
it's also dependent on how much a population will listen to the politician, the people governing them, the people telling them what to do when it comes to something like that.
Well, some people just self-listen. Like,
They just think about it and they're
Well, I
like,
don't-
okay, I watched Contagion, so.
yeah, there's like people in Algeria on the Reply All podcast that.
Oh yeah, if they were
They're
near
all-
or they
Because
helped
they're like,
with
our
the
healthcare
Ebola
system
virus.
sucks.
Yeah,
and
they're like,
we're
they
not
know
gonna
what it
survive
means
this.
to run out of stuff. I'm like, I have a feeling we have the capacity to build technology make the things we need fast enough if we're honest about putting our resources to doing that. Like if we work together to stomp it out, it could be stomped out. If not, it could be really ugly. Like I said, like it could be like the last plague on the.
You think it's gonna get that bad? It's gonna get pretty bad. Just no one knows how bad.
Well, if you talk to people who are living in New York, I think someone knows someone who's died.
No, I mean, but we don't know how many people are gonna die.
Yeah, we haven't seen that we have flattened the curve. And if you know anything about data and we're all data points, and so we can see, and that's why you have to look. Yeah, like those things. You have to be able to flatten the curve to know whether what you got now is able to handle even like understanding. So yeah, you could still test positive people and get more positives, but not overwhelm the medical system, because enough people who got sick and were on the ventilators before are off, and you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So now they're not like overwhelming. Or
I saw a good one. This one? Oh God.
Oh, I guess yeah. It depends on total. Depends on what's on the vectors or the
Wow, the US is like taking off. Woohoo! Is Italy? They're flattening theirs. All the mayors.
Oh, there, less confirmed cases. Then it's just this one's by confirmed cases.
Where's China? It's gonna look like the made-up one. Like some kid got an F on his homework. This one? No.
I don't know, because everyone's like, how many people do you know that are positive? I'm like, well, how many people do you know that were tested?
Look at this. These liars.
It's like, we did it. We promise. I'm just kidding, but they did build those hospitals, and everyone's like, what are they doing? Don't you remember?
Show people we're talking about.
I'm like, at least we brought Navy ships with beds. I don't know how many ventilators they got. But
I didn't even have to read it. I just
Elon
knew
Musk
it would
could
be...
send in the ventilators.
Oh yeah, we can share that. This is
Except, did you see someone tried to derail a train? That was on Reddit, and then derail a train, and because they thought that the USS Navy, the Mercy, is that the one in San Pedro? They thought it looked suspicious and shouldn't be there, and they tried to derail a train to hit it.
How? How would a train hit a boat?
Because they're very close. It's probably near a docking station.
That sounds made up. I think you ate the onion.
Oh.
That sounds really made up.
Look it up on Reddit.
Hold on. No, I'm looking up. I had the tweet saved. Oh, here we go. Elon helping. Elon says, we have extra FDA-approved ventilators we'll ship to hospitals worldwide within Tesla delivery regions. Device and shipping costs are free. Only requirement is vents are needed immediately for patients, not stored in a warehouse. Please, me or at Tesla, no. What a guy.
Why doesn't he? Yeah.
So let's take a look at the...
There's so many...
lines.
Yeah, protocol stuff.
So this is Italy. They're doing a good job flattening their curve.
Did you see the thing where some news outlet
I guess I should just put all of them up.
used
China.
footage from a busy Italian thing to say that was a New York hospital? China's curve looks a little weird.
China's curve looks
Well,
really
let me
weird.
see. What's on the axis? What are the? Oh, it's the same. No, that's Italy. What's on the x-axis? Is it the same thing? Total confirmed cases.
I'm assuming. They're all overlaying on each
Okay,
other.
they're from the same graph.
Yeah.
I mean, same people who made the other graph.
The USA. It's like a rocket. So the USA. That's the. The USA. It's the one in green. It looks like a rocket taking off. Italy is the one in blue in the middle. They're flattening their curve, and then China is the red one on the right, which looks like, I don't know, suspicious to me. It looks like they just started making up numbers like around when everyone else started getting coronavirus. But look how high that US one is getting.
Or maybe they just stopped testing and assumed everyone had it, and then just put them on.
Then why wouldn't theirs just be at 2 billion?
What do you mean?
Why wouldn't their if they assumed everyone had it, why
Because
don't they just update
they
the
didn't
numbers?
confirm. They're non-confirmed.
It's Spain.
Anyways,
Anyways, good job, Italy. We're rooting for you.
If
The
they
United
didn't
States.
test it, doesn't mean they didn't have it.
It's South Korea.
Theirs
Theirs
almost
almost looks
looks
made up too. They just did a really good job. I mean, theirs is pretty even at least.
Where's Japan? Maybe the same person's making all three of theirs numbers.
I don't know if Japan has numbers.
Japan's like, can you leave us out since we're screwed with the Olympics until we can figure out what we're gonna do? It's like, why do we have to lose so much in all these wars, world wars?
It's the coronavirus, everyone.
Welcome to World War III.
Where the rich fight the poor,
No, we work together to like
eat the rich.
even it out so not so many dead people are in the streets.
Yeah,
They're gonna all have to clean up their own trash.
put them in the rich people houses after we kick them out.
Do like a reshuffle. What's that called? A Chinese fire drill? Is that racist?
Yeah, that's so racist.
That's what it was called before this flu came.
All right, let's look at some happy stuff.
I thought this was the happy stuff.
You wish. So there are Otter gangs in Singapore. Thought I'd share with you.
Some of those have died, and otters have been injured in this film. That's our disclaimer.
Damn, I did not. Hold on, I'll find them. They're in here. Okay. Oh, it's so small.
I know. They looked. I was like, what are they?
Let's rewind it. So these are a bunch of
Sea otters, river otters,
I guess.
smooth coat.
Yeah. The larger group on the right is the Bichon family, the largest family of otters in Singapore. They are highly aggressive and expansionist towards other otters, and are the most famous and well-documented family in Singapore. They have, to our knowledge, won every single fight against every other otter family. No doubt due to their sheer numbers, which makes them 3 times the size of a wild otter family. The group on the left is the Marina family, the second largest family in Singapore. They are shown for constantly feuding and losing with the Bichon family and being highly adaptable to urban areas, having learnt how to climb ladders and navigate storm drains. Otter fights are pretty brutal. At least one death has been recorded when the Bichon family fought the Marina family in 2017. And major injuries sometimes happen. Like when a female of the Bichon family lost her ear fighting another female in the same family. In 2015, the Bichon family migrated from their home in Bishan Ang Mo Kyo Park to the Marina Bay, invading the home of the Marina family and successfully expelling them. The Marina family moved to the East Coast Park for a while, but were unused to the rough seas and steep coasts, leading them to try and reconquer the Marina Bay. In 2018, they successfully slipped past the Bichon family to move upstream to Bishan AMK Park. The fight in this video occurred in
March 29th, 23rd. 29th.
Yeah. Wow. It's pretty recently. The fight in this video occurred March 29th, 2020, near Bishan AMK Park. It seems that the Bichon family is moving upstream once again, and the Marina family will have to move out of the park soon. Huh. So, yeah, we'll keep you updated on Otter Wars.
Dude, otters can be jerks. There's some animals that are just kind of like...
They're like... They have like the body of a ferret, but in water.
Oh, they're like similar ferret. I guess all those are very, very aggressive, like honey badgers, weasels, mongooses. Are they part of that family? No.
Maybe these are literal gang wars. Otter gang wars. So cool.
They get vicious. They got sharp teeth. Is this where we learn our tactics?
Yeah, when we fight the rich.
When does that ever happen?
It happened in France a few times. That's when they invented the guillotine.
France, they unruly people. Have you seen the fines for their... How are the people in France doing? Our white revolutionaries.
Probably amazing.
In their own homes. They just all got dogs and they're walking them all over the place.
Oh, look at this guy. This is my hero right here. He freaking lit a joint with a magnifying glass.
Yeah.
This is true green, folks. You don't need any fuel.
How do you do it at night?
You have to keep your joints chain
You have
lit.
to have like a torch. There's something that always keeps it lit at night.
This guy is so cool. Damn.
But you don't want to be always burning weed. I'm just kidding. Yes, you do.
That's what this show is for. I want to be him.
You know, you can do it quite easily right now outside in this. Oh, is it cloudy today? I can't tell. You taped up all the stuff. I wonder if it's getting smokier on screen.
You know, thank God I taped that up. It's much better for the background. Yesterday, it looked like... Well, it's much better.
I know. Does everyone want to know my secret superpower? I'm actually Invisible Woman. Do you see the space?
You're flashing them. Yeah. Well, except your neck somehow is not invisible.
Oh,
How is your face not invisible?
Because I'm wearing a mask. I'm not going to take my mask off.
Ew, what do you look like? Are you a lizard person?
You know
Oh, yeah, where's that meme
take my
soundboard?
mask off. I'm invisible. What do you mean, what does my face look like? If I took the mask off, I would just look like the background. You wouldn't see me. Invisible Woman. Hello.
Dang it, where's the human one? Anyways, okay, let's move on to another video I liked. Oop. Oh yeah, look how well trained this dog is. Oh, there's audio. Let's Let's do the audio one. He's like training them. He's I mean, you know.
That's how all like herding dogs are trained.
No, I mean they're like, I don't know. He's doing...
No, the dog's not training the sheep. The dog's listening to the trainer.
Right, exactly. I wonder why I can hear the sound.
He's herding them.
Yeah.
Oh, he's training them to get them to.
Well, they're like butting heads with them, and he's not like backing down.
Well, that's a very scary posture for a lot of the.
Like, okay.
Because they don't want to crash into the ground.
Oh, is that why?
And he stares at them. Yeah.
I love border collies. They're so cool.
He's just being told not to back down and to keep them back, moving forward, but don't let them go around you or whatever. They'll tell he knows very basic stuff.
He's so
And
cute.
the owner, I mean
Look, he gets them hard.
Yeah. Dude, sometimes they get, like, if they're doing cattle and stuff.
Yeah, you realize
So
how small they are.
Ones, you want to dehorn them if they're going to be used for farming. And if you're going to use it. Because if you dehorn them when they're babies, you can get it where they won't ever grow. I don't know. Some people say that's inhumane. But I'm like, if you're going to use a dog and you don't want him to lose an eye and then forever lose his job or whatever, then... Actually, I think dogs can depth perceive with just one, which is weird. I'm not sure how that works. We only have depth perception with 2.
No, people can do it if they adjust. I'm sure dogs have to adjust too. I mean, I think the speed of things...
My brain perceives it because
Then how do dogs do it? Maybe they can reference their nose.
Yeah, I think they reference more than just... I don't know. Maybe people are doing that too now. I'm an older model.
That's dogs, everyone.
Hey, is it 4:20 yet? Oh.
I should set an alarm. Oh, there was an alarm. Should I be surprised?
Yeah, the best 420 is the real 420. We don't have to be anywhere we can't be. I'm going to do an OG.
All right.
I'm probably going to have to save Oma right away so I can smoke this OP.
Yeah, whatever you want.
Or are you going to get a new one? Do you want me to...
No, I'll just grab whatever. I'm still smoking this one, but I'm gonna light a new one. All right, guys. We hope you had a good time. We're not leaving yet, but it's almost 4:20 our time, which is the end of our show.
So you're gonna not edit it? Do we have to go through it if we want to edit it?
No, I'm just gonna cut it up into the different segments, like when we talked about like.
Oh yeah,
different
okay.
things. This is kind of at the end, it's kind of more like soft things, so like things that we saved that are like funny, like those videos. You know, when we don't have time to do another segment, like we didn't even get to the economy part. Yeah. Usually,
Which part?
We didn't even get to economics.
Oh
My
man.
beef with the stimulus package.
Oh.
We'll get to it tomorrow, folks.
You don't think that people are already?
Hey, if you want to tell a story, you could produce a segment. Otherwise, I'm just gonna produce whatever I want.
Oh, okay.
The Andrew Cuomo stuff is interesting.
Really?
I had another screenshot I thought for that story. I wish this shit was better organized. It might be in here somewhere. Oh, forgot about this. Damn it! What a great clip.
Yeah, why don't you show that? We still have even 10 minutes till the 420.
So this was a clip of
Oh.
People don't know. Great.
Some people thought that was his dad.
No, so Chris Cuomo, is that his name? Chris Cuomo on CNN, and Andrew Cuomo,
Yeah, governor of New
governor
York.
of New York, are siblings. And so Chris Cuomo straight up asked him if he if he was considering the presidency. So, take a look.
Let me ask you something. With all of this adulation that you're getting for doing your job, are you thinking about running for president? Tell the audience. No. No. No, you won't answer?
No, I answered. The answer is no.
No, you're not thinking about it?
Sometimes it's one word. I said no.
Have you thought about it?
No.
Are you open to thinking about it?
No.
Might you think about it at some point?
No.
How can you know what you might think about at some point right now?
Because I know what I might think about and what I won't think about. But you're a great interviewer, by the way.
So he says no, but it's like, what does that mean? What does anything mean? What does a vote
We
mean?
just take him for his word.
It's gonna be
And
his
it's on
words.
film. It's on film. Is he gonna be like another Trump?
No, it's like they're gonna be like, hey, the DNC asked me, I said yes. I wasn't thinking about it. I didn't lie.
I guess that's just like Trump. Hey man, if he can do that, and if he can think that fast like that, then that might be why the Democrats would put him there.
And this is why we're never ever gonna get Medicare for all, because Governor Cuomo is still cutting.
I'm moving back to Cuba, guys.
Yeah, what is it? 2 billion he's cutting still during a pandemic.
And then they're
Yeah, at least
forfeiting.
Cuba has
$5
cheaper
billion.
medicine than the U.S.
I mean, they don't have
It's cheaper for an insurance company in
stuff
Utah.
that's been patented.
It's cheaper for an insurance company in Utah to send people to Mexico, to literally give them a check to travel to Mexico to buy prescription than to get it in the United States.
Oh yeah, when I used to have to take migraine medication, it was cheaper for me to go to Tijuana.
Utah's not even close.
And I had
to
good
Mexico.
insurance.
Do you know how I know?
I was in
'Cause
San Diego.
You can judge a state's vicinity to Mexico by how good their Mexican food is. And Utah does not have good Mexican food. So they're far.
But Mexicans would say Baja food isn't Mexican food.
Yeah, Baja's far from Mexico too. Look how close San Diego has to be.
Tijuana and Baja, Mexico is
Oh, I see what you mean.
because they have different types of food in different regions of Mexico.
Yeah, but then you give
Very
them both
different.
Mexican food from Utah, and they'd be like, "Yeah, Baja is."
They would just say that's American food.
They'd be like, "That's plastic." What does Miguel say about American food? He calls it plastic.
No, that's
It's American food.
no. He likes hamburgers.
Who doesn't? Hamburgers and pizza are American foods are just foods that everyone likes. That's what American food. That's my hot take.
That's what Americans think.
No, it's proven by Miguel. He likes hamburgers.
But the plastic food he's talking about is McDonald's, and they make hamburgers.
Yeah, there are
They're
some
known
hamburgers
for-
that are lower on the quality scale. McDonald's is kind of they kind of set the bar for the on the low side. Anything worse than McDonald's is just inedible. You can't eat a burger that's worse than McDonald's, or you shouldn't want to.
I think
It's like drinking.
I think you have not traveled very far, or not to places where they don't know what a burger is.
Well, then it's not a burger, so that's their excuse. It's like, oh, you didn't cook a burger. No wonder it's terrible.
Okay, fine. Then technically, Cuba, you can't really get a burger. They don't have beef.
Yeah, maybe that's why he likes burgers so much in the U.S. is because they're made of beef.
Yeah.
Beef is a luxury. It's like cows eat like
Cows
30
are
pounds of grass for every
extremely
100 gallons
expensive.
of
I know.
water they piss.
That's
or
why
whatever.
on our farm I wanted to do that co-op thing for I'll raise the cattle, Miguel will butcher it, we'll make
And I'll eat it.
Yeah, but in the meantime we need to
you
have
don't-
the funds. You need $600 to buy the calf. We have the land, and then I
You
have
can
to
you can easily just go by quarters. Like you can buy you can just go in like a quarter. You don't even have to buy the whole thing. So you can get 4 people to buy one. You can
raise no. I'm talking about us raising that.
no, but you
cattle
can get
itself.
4 people to buy 1 cow. Is what I'm saying.
Oh yeah.
You can
That's
timeshare
what I'm
a
saying.
cow.
That's why I said a co-op, a cow.
Oh, okay, right, yeah.
Co-op raise a cow.
Yeah, exactly.
And you can come to celebrate for the slaughter.
No, they should come to celebrate when it's like
They should recognize and realize where their food comes from.
No, when it's already been quartered. I guess it could be both. I mean,
I guess fine. If you
it has
still
to
want
be
it like
quartered,
chopped
right?
up.
Yeah. How long does it take to chop it up? 1 day?
Oh no, you gotta like let it drain.
Exactly. Yeah.
and
Right.
you
They
gotta,
should
like,
come for when they receive it. They should all come at the same time, and then you can have like a barbecue.
I think. Well, so people will get up there where we're at. They'll get professionals to come in and do the slaughter.
Yeah.
Because some of the animals are huge, and you can't. Or they'll do their own chicken. It's still like a process, and you still need more than
I know. So that's why I'm
it's like
saying if you want to make it an
over
event, they
1,000
should come
pound
to the
cow
day
you're
when they
gonna
pick it
wrangle
up.
and die and slaughter.
Yeah, that sounds fun. I mean,
Yeah,
that sounds
because
more
at the
humane
same
than the way
time,
we do it now.
usually
We should be
with
more
the
connected to our
weekly-
food, is what I'm saying. Not.
I
we
know,
should-
but
we
not
should
only
murder
do
cows.
that, not only do that, but we at the same time raise enough pigs, and it can be done up there on 1 acre. Raise enough pigs and enough chickens to do the slaughter at once, and you can actually have like
Yeah. If anything,
food, a party, and whatever. Obviously not now with social distancing, but
if anything, this pandemic has really outlined that
we can still take care of the animals.
We should really be close to our food sources. What are you
We
gonna?
should understand where our food comes from and the true cost of it.
Yeah, the only people.
And we can't be sustained on high fructose corn syrup nor sugar. Like we need lots of other stuff to keep us healthy.
Yeah, tell that to
It's
Michelle. Obama.
biology.
I'm just kidding.
It's not
we
her.
don't-
Why would you like? You can always be shooting the messenger. The people who like end up having to work the system from within the system. Like there's
So who
only
do you
certain
think?
things
Who do
that
you
they
think
can
is
do.
surviving like best right now?
Well, they're just kicked out, huh?
Who do you think's surviving like best right now during this
What do you
quarantine?
mean?
Like those weirdos that like know how to hunt and like not weirdos, but they're
Pretty
like
much like
now they're like
we know that even if electricity goes off, even if the water gets shut off, Miguel and I have lived in that.
yeah, I
before.
saw it. You guys had your power out for a month.
So we're like, whatever. But if you panic and freak out about it and then have no, like, you don't know what to do about it, that's when you get chaotic, like, I don't know, chaos. That's bad, like rioting, and then military and police have to come in, and then it just gets even worse because you're now not even now you're spreading it even more. And
By the way, I have nothing against Michelle Obama. Everyone's stuck at home. They might see this. It's just, so like I love Michelle Obama. It's just putting that out there.
Yes, but it started with you saying something about
Well,
the sugar industry and how big it is.
It's
and you're
just
like, for it to have
insane to me
so
that
for you
even
to
they
know,
got Michelle Obama. It's
Of
like that's how
course.
influential they are,
she's
and it's not her fault.
she
it's,
has to represent
I,
the
yeah,
people
right.
who got
There's-
her to where she is.
Right, there's a line. I know there's a
There
line
is
that
a-
you have to walk in politics, and it's disappointing to everyone that tries to learn about politics. But I don't know. At one point, forget it. It's almost 420. It's 418. It's a different time to celebrate. Oh, we should get new ones. That one's yours.
Oh yes!
Time for a new
And my little fish thing. This is for the Daily Show. Oh, that's like patented. I can't say that stuff. I totally meant that in lowercase letters. But I meant the Highbrow Show.
There we go. 30 seconds to 420. Got to get my sound effects ready.
But
and-
it's already
and
full.
My
My
memes.
little. Okay.
Oh, throw it. You
Have a
can
light
throw it
up.
in the.
No. It's okay. I still can use it. We're gonna make it to the end, to the best 420.
West Coast
Because I
420.
happen to be where it is 420.
I know. 420.
Oh shoot! Did I light that ahead? It's okay. It's almost. I'm just prepping it, guys. This is my sage. This is how I clean my room, guys.
I know you can't blow in the. Yay!
Oh,
It's 420. Happy 420, everyone.
Blow out the candle. Or suck it in. Blow it out and then.
Let's do another one. Happy 420. We made it. Officially, our first show is over. Technically, our
Again?
second.
Or fourth.
Oops. Dang it, my meme soundboard. Hold on.
Oh, yeah. You forgot about that with all the technical difficulties. What?
Whack.
Sorry, not that one.
You're breathtaking.
Yay, cheers. Woohoo. Oh, we were supposed to have so much fun this month, being 420.
We
I
are
guess
gonna have so much fun this month.
We
We
just
don't
need
even know
people
what we
to
have
join
planned.
the party. I like this kind of party
Well,
where I feel alone. But there's a lot of voices. I just think. Do you remember when people were like surprised about not having a dialogue?
Oh, who doesn't have an inner dialogue?
Yeah, and I was like, and then I realized, wow, usually people only have one voice.
Whack.
That's whack.
That people have one voice?
Well-
So you have different voices.
Oh, like it's like the same voice but in different moods.
Oh.
Wait, you have what? Like you have different voices?
No, of course not.
What?
I mean, like, the dialogue in your head can have different, yeah, it can sound different depending on what you're
Well, I mean, it
reading
can
or
talk
where
from
you're at.
different points of view. Like I can have like Oma's voice in my head, or like.
Like, if you're reading like a legal document, it's not different from when you're reading
Oh,
the
sure.
Bible.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay.
Different than the text I read on here. Different than like my news. Different than subtitles.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's funny. Sometimes when you read like when Arnold Schwarzenegger like comments on stuff on like Twitter or like even on Facebook or his on Reddit, you can kind of hear it in his voice.
No,
Like,
I
is
know.
that what you mean?
Yes.
Yeah.
So you always if it's not you, and you're reading something or you're trying to because it's not you, so you're reading something is it not in a different voice? Because that's what I was shocked at. Like people don't have. I'm like, how do you read things without a voice?
How do
Is what-
people read things at all? I mean, what do you mean read things without a voice? So they just like look at the words and their brain just absorbs the words. Like they don't have to read the words.
Yeah. Unless they're trying to read it out loud.
Huh.
They have to read it out
I mean,
loud
some-
for the words to come out in their
How do like people with like eidetic memory, like we can just like look at a page and like know what it says? Like I'm sure they don't have a voice that reads the whole page really fast.
Yeah, they don't.
It's probably a different way of reading that we don't. That maybe that's why dyslexics have a hard time.
Maybe like the way I read contracts.
How do you read contracts with both eyes?
There's no voice. Yeah.
Just a drone.
No, it's yes. Specific
It's like-
information
it's like
that
you're
will
doing
make
a-
it impossible for me to sign.
It's like you're doing a puzzle,
Yeah.
like math. There's no
Yeah,
inner
because
voice.
there's too many words.
There's no inner voice
You
for
have
me
to
when I do
cover a
math.
600-page document
Actually, no, that's true. When I would,
within like 20 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
And be like, is there anything kind of faulty or weird about this? Maybe that's why people don't read terms and conditions. I'm like, if you have to have a voice to read through all of that, then that's
oh yeah, no one. It's just 20 pages of nonsense, and no one wants to go through. It's crazy.
I realize because they have to have that one specific voice or something to say it, to go through it?
I don't know. Some people go through it.
Oh, I just
You know,
always
also,
wonder-
I realize, yeah.
I realize more and more what I do is not always normal way of thinking or whatever.
Right, yeah,
That's
you
what
assume
kids
how you do it is how everyone else does it, and then you realize not everyone does it that way. That's true. I get, but
when
then
you have to
that's-
teach kids that are
that's-
young and they're totally opposite and absorb the same exact information that you give them, but interpret it completely opposite ways, it's like,
yeah, and that's
What?
that's the difference on like how you're unique is like the difference in how people do things or how you do things differently. I mean,
well,
that's
yeah, that's what I'm saying. I guess that's everyone, but then to
Yeah.
figure out your weird quirks because you're
Well,
like,
everyone's
for the
weird
most
compared
part,
to-
we're all normal. Like, I mean,
the inner voice thing though. That's pretty big though. It's like how everyone reads. Like I think everyone's like normal, like, but then there are really profound nuances where you're like, wow, I didn't realize we could be this different in that one way.
yes. You would like in the interpretation. Or how you even process.
Even
Yes,
the
I realize
execution of how you read is weird. Like how some people like, so I realized I had a strong inner voice in high school because I realized when I was reading for like English or literature, I couldn't listen to music that had words in it. I would have to listen to classical music.
I can't absorb any information. I don't know
But
how people
then
do that.
when you do math, it was, or for me at least, I could listen to any music.
You can use, yes.
And I didn't realize that was weird until I was telling a counselor in college. He's like, really? That you should look into that. I'm like, really? I should look into
but
that?
that is different. Numbers and words.
No, exactly. I thought it was normal,
different.
but the counselor was like, you should look into that because he thought that was abnormal, or he thought that was unique enough in a way where he told me to look into it.
When I do math, I need just silence.
Oh, that's interesting. You can't do math with any sound, not even like classical music.
What? Classical makes it even worse.
If
I cannot do classical music and math or science.
It's like,
What?
is that a mouse?
Oh no, that's my foot.
Oh no, I thought I heard something behind. It's like your brain needs like all of it to do math.
Yeah. Well, I don't think you use all your brain to do anything, but
Well, you don't even like what about music that what about music distracts you? You just really want to concentrate.
yeah, it takes up a big part of my brain. I can't just ignore it for some reason.
Interesting. You're like, do you feel like you have ADD?
Mm-hmm. But I don't think I have ADD. It's just like, oh, just don't listen to music.
Yeah, you're just like, don't distract me, and I'm fine. Yeah. Wow.
I guess there's a lot of people. Some people can't study with any music. Like
No, I
any
know
kind of
that.
Studying.
Who?
Any kind of studying. Some people can.
I just can't do any kind of studying.
You just have regular AD.
I have. Well, no. I guess I like things that I'm interested in. That's the hard thing. It's finding things you're interested in. Like high school is kind of limiting in that way because they only keep you on the the basic subjects, which is fine. I mean, you learn.
They're supposed to just whet your appetite and let you figure out what you want to focus on.
Yeah,
or
because
what you're good at.
I feel like they crammed a bunch of education in my face, but I feel like I didn't really learn that much because of how it's so procedural the way the education is set up here because of the standardized testing.
Yeah, I feel like
there's no actual
I didn't learn.
room.
Chauncey was like, "You do know how to study." I'm like, not the way I feel like I could to get to where I need to because I didn't learn it because I just learned. I felt like early on the formula was if you could just pass the tests, you're good.
Yeah, so you can the subjects in the United States are really limited to what the tests are testing for. That you can learn until you're 18.
Wait,
right? What other? I mean, I don't know. There were so many different classes to take in high school, and it's none of them were interesting. And it's there has to be a better way
I
to
did
do.
work study, ROP, and sports.
Yeah, why do you have to go outside of school? You know what I mean?
Because it's limited funding. I went to a public school.
I know. I know. That's what I'm saying. I feel like
But those things were available to me for free through my school. No, I couldn't work without my school's
That's what I'm saying. More. Yeah, no, having more experience definitely outside of school, working would help. If schools were better set up for their students to get experience outside and actually.
But you had to be a good student. I had to have a.
Yeah, if schools offered that for good students and they're like, oh, I could work if I got good grades and earn money, who wouldn't do that?
I think they do, don't they?
I don't think it's
How did you
it's
start
not a
working?
priority.
That's how I got introduced to working.
I was a senior in high school already. I could already work. I was old enough.
I was 14. I had to get approval, or 14 and a half, or 15, or I don't know, at a late age limit where you had to get not only your parents' approval, your schools, and because you're supposed to be at school until, like you said, till
Adriana and Gustin, they're already bored and they're only 6 and 7.
They're bored because they're in kindergarten, first grade.
I know. I don't know. I had fun in school, but not because I was at school. I was just having fun at the age.
Yeah, I was like, it doesn't have to be all about school because at the end, unless they're going to be geared towards academia or research or stuff, they're not going to always be in school. So it's just at this time, I always tell them, I'm like, it's at this time, you just need to learn how to learn.
Yeah, right.
You need basics. You don't know how to read. And that's why I think she's trying to learn how to read really fast.
Oh.
And it's kind of scaring me. Because every time I'm like, this is why I'm like, kids will test your reality. I was like, she was doing really bad in her reading. She's only in first grade, right? And she's dyslexic, I can tell. So I'm like, it's okay. You don't have to get straight A's. Mm-hmm. But she was kind of slacking. And she's like, oh, okay. And I was like, but if you incentivize, and I was like, if you do this, then you can do that. And it's like, all of a sudden she's getting 100% on her spelling, 100% on her phonograms. All of a sudden she's like.
What did you tell her? Do you remember?
I don't know, because I think it was short term at first and she got it. And then when I removed it, I was like, let's see. She dropped back down again. And then when I gave it to her again, it's like a weekly thing because every week they came home with a test. You know, she's first grade, so it can't be like for like a PlayStation. Yeah. I did tell her now if she learns to read and gets above her grade level from her last report card. Now we don't have a report card, so she's gonna want to go back to school. But if she does that, I'll get her the Minecraft game on our PlayStation because that's the first video game that she's started to really.
You might even be able to get it on your iPad.
Yeah, I'm like, I want her to be able to because she's starting to get ideas on what she wants to build. And
the PlayStation controller on the iPad now.
Oh,
on the Fortnite on the iPad Pro. Oh, because then she doesn't have to be on the PlayStation all the time.
So if I incentivize her with stuff like that, all of a sudden everything's easy, sweet. I'm like,
But I'm sure it's not easy for her. It's just
Oma's just looking at me like,
I think it's but incentive is a huge part of game theory, which is a part of like economics, which is how do you properly incentivize people to do like the optimum work.
Yes, I'd rather be her happy and incentivize her than me always yelling at her for like just her curiosity, maybe pushing her over whatever other boundaries people might have. And it's like, she looks at me and she's like, I'm not going to like choke on food. How come I have to sit here and sit because Gus and chokes on food? And I'm like, because your younger brother and he's copying you and I don't, he's scared us twice when he choked really bad, but she doesn't do that because she's,
I remember you pulled it out of his mouth. I was like, wow.
I was like, oh my gosh, no more choking babies. But he wasn't a baby yet. He's just, I'm like, dude, you don't have control of your
well, even adults choke though. That's not something.
So you should know if you were eating, you shouldn't be doing too many other things because you're just like one to like either spill or like
Yeah.
And she knows she doesn't do it. That's why I let her. But now she's like, why am I restricted now because of this kid? You know? Community, guys. Community. I think she would be nicer to him because you and me had such a big age gap. You being, obviously I knew there was a difference. There was a responsibility. Like you can literally die if I wasn't being careful with you.
But because they're so close, you feel like you don't.
More competitive, more like.
Yeah, you're my peer.
Yeah,
you're not a younger sibling.
I don't need to take care of you. You take care of yourself, dude.
Well, kind of. I mean, they are that close, though. He's bigger than her now.
I know. This is why every time she used to knock him over.
Yeah, I remember.
And then I was like, Adriana, one day he's out eating you and outpacing you in growth, like really fast. One day soon, he's gonna knock back and you're gonna go flying. And
yeah,
she did, and now she's like, now. So and then he realized the power in just like. Fine, you hit me, I'll hit you. And I was like,
yeah, they got to figure it out. You can't always be there. It's like you got to figure it out young before you're really big.
Oh, but last time he did scratch her. I was like, you can't.
Oh, I think I heard.
Scratch her face.
I saw it.
I know he got in big trouble for that one. Like, you can't be drawing blood. You can't be hitting like, and That's why we're gonna put them in Taekwondo or something, martial arts, like. if they're gonna get physical when
It's
we're
good,
not
though.
watching,
Yeah.
they can learn how to do it safely.
They learn. I think the best thing I learned from Taekwondo is how to fall correctly, and not like
Well,
break your
yeah,
wrists.
how to protect yourself too. It's a good thing for defense too.
Yeah,
which I feel
sure.
like would help her, and I don't know, they would fight fairly when they learn to compete in sport,
Yeah,
right?
But it disciplines them in the same way too. Like they know.
Oh yeah, when you told him to practice, that was the first time Gusson like was doing that blocking technique. I videotaped it too. I'm like, I'm gonna go as long as he goes because he's usually one of the, I'm so tired. you
Oh
know?
right, yeah.
But
He's
he'll just
incentivized because it's something
complain.
he wants to do.
Yeah, he's like, I want to be a ninja. I want to be a ninja. And so you showed him that move, and he was just practicing. I could tell he was getting tired, and he was just like,
Good for
gritting
him.
through it. Yeah, I was like,
I know.
oh, good. It makes them, that physical, I think, discipline is good too. Mental discipline, all the aspects that make us human.
I know. Someone
And
should
then,
really
like-
make YouTube Taekwondo for all those kids stuck at home.
I'm sure there is.
There should be.
You
we
don't
should
think
plug
so?
them. I know. We should find something and plug them, and be like, if you have young kids at home and you want them to release some energy, and you kind of live in a small, you don't have a lot of space, you can just clear a room for them. Let's see. You know what? I'm afraid to do this now because I'll look at it.
Oh,
see how
yeah,
long
it might
be
freeze our thing. Oh, but we've been going for a while.
I know we have pretty
I
good.
guess I feel bad when 420 hits and then it's like, okay, bye.
No, I
Whereas the
know.
East Coast gets a-
That's why we get the West Coast gets like a little bit of the smoking time, which is good because we started a little late.
But true West Coast fans would have been smoking from the beginning.
I know. Eventually, I wanted to just loop this. Well, we'll see.
So where it goes all day?
Well, so on the weekends, there's a live stream going, but also people in.
But do we have to
Like
say
Hawaii.
pre-recorded? Or what does it say? Recorded live stream?
Oh yeah, maybe I can. Yeah, I can set that up.
Because I'm like, technically, when I think of live stream, I feel like this is what's happening right now, wherever they are.
All right, I'm gonna end this now.
Oh, okay.
That's it, everyone. Thanks for tuning in.
Bye.
See you tomorrow.
Bye.